What's up, Wolfpack fans? It's John Ramey. Welcome to the inaugural edition of the 2,464 Reasons podcast, featuring the all-time leading scorer in the history of Nevada men's basketball, Nick Fazekas. In this inaugural edition, Nick talks about the Wolfpack's come-from-behind victory at home in their most recent game against South Dakota State. We talk about the state of the Pack program 10 games into this campaign, and we preview tonight's matchup at Lawler Event Center against Texas Southern. Here's the GOAT. Do we feel good? 14-point win? Taking care of business at home? Nothing to it? Or is the journey to the 14-point win, does it give you pause? And I don't mean to be overly negative here. I mean, wins are great, but you know what I mean.
For sure. I understand what you mean. I just think that the first half was cause for concern, like obviously being down 7 at the half to a South Dakota State team that just doesn't seem like, they're at the level that we want to be at or that we should be at. But the second half was promising. Obviously, to outscore them by 21, to score 47 points in the half was, promising. Like we had talked before at the LMU game, Nick was, a key ingredient for us where we both kind of feel that same way. And then Nick kind of played, a lot better against South Dakota State, especially in that second half. But yeah, obviously watching that game against South Dakota State, there's definitely some things that you wish that we could get better at, I should say, or just kind of fine tune sort of defensively, a lot of offensive rebounds given up and just things that just can't happen, in order to start having success once we start, league play against Colorado State.
I thought in the second half, first of all, tell me if you saw this, but I didn't see any tactical adjustment. I feel like the coaching staff said, look, this is the game plan. You guys just need to commit to it. And I noticed in the second half, Nick Davidson was on the floor a lot. And I felt like that was leadership, and also, his offense followed. He was 5 of 7 from the floor. He had 6 rebounds? 16 and 6. I just felt like his demonstrative leading by example as far as the level of effort that had to be displayed on both ends of the floor really was the key. And I know we keep coming back to Nick, but if he's going to be the guy, he's the ranking returning guy. I thought that was incredibly positive.
I agree. He's going to lead the charge, right? Like you said, he's the leading returning guy. Of course, there's been some new transfers and Kobe and guys like that have come in. But if Nick is the heartbeat of the team and, he's diving on a loose ball or he's getting his nose into things, why shouldn't everyone else, right? If Nick has to sort of take that role, or if he is that guy, which it seems that could be the case, then everyone just kind of falls in line, right? Every team needs kind of not maybe the alpha, but kind of that leader to be like, dude, if Nick's going to play this hard, then I'm going to play this hard. And all of a sudden, if I see that loose ball and Nick can't get to it, I'm going to get to it. And that just kind of all just snowballs and feeds for each and every guy.
I feel like Jared Lucas was that guy the past 2 years, and maybe part of the important or maybe the most important part or an important part of this non-conference season is kind of finding out who is, what will we call that? The pace car, the lead dog, just the guy who's going to set the intensity tone.
Oh, I think 100%. I think as long as my career went, I felt like there was always that sort of alpha, or like you said, maybe not the alpha, but that lead dog where it was hey man, you guys can jump on my back from an energy perspective, or maybe it's a scoring perspective or rebounding. If you see me do it, then you should be able to do it. You know what I mean? Where it's if maybe Nick is that guy, which it seems that way, and he's not diving on the loose ball, then everyone else is going to be like, oh, well, Nick doesn't really seem like he's doing it. And it's it's a subconscious kind of thing for everyone, but it's obviously, basketball is a game of momentum. It's a game of energy, watching the game, the more times Nick was on the floor, the more times he was grabbing rebounds, the more momentum we built, which got us to that lead in the second half.
One thing Len Stevens keeps emphasizing when a specific lineup is on the floor is how much he likes when Tyler Rollison is running the point for Nevada, and then you put Kobe at the 2 guard. Kobe, again, I don't know this to be true. I observe it to be true. Kobe is a better catch and shoot 3-point shooter. And so when you have him kind of working off the ball, it seems that Nevada's offense has an extra texture or just
Sure.
another look to it. Plus, Rollison's so smooth with the ball. Do you like that alignment? And just kind of your thoughts on that particular combination.
Yeah, I mean Tyler played really well.
Yeah.
He was really
14
that
points, career
spark
high.
in this, right? He was a really big spark for us in that second half. Couple late clock situation, he was able to hit a step back or just, like you said, he's a smooth player. Is he as big as Kobe? No, but Kobe brings a different gear than what Tyler does. And then, like, Len says, and in agreement with Len, when you have the two of them out there, like you said, it's a whole nother gear. So it's like you can kind of piece those guys together a little bit differently, and one sits and the other doesn't. But yeah, Tyler looked good, and he definitely was, sort of the knight in shining armor for us there in the second half against South Dakota State.
Brandon Love, 2 for 2 from the floor, 8 rebounds, just 4 points, but 3 assists, had a steal. I mean, specifically as a big, we focused on Nick Davidson, but Brandon Love, KJ Himes, Justin McBride. What are you seeing from the Wolfpack front line that you like, and what do you want to see more of?
I really would just love to see more assertiveness rebounding, right? Like Brandon's an athlete. He's dunking the ball easily. He's got good hands. He's long. KJ's been around, and he understands it, So I really would love to just see more rebounding and just like posing, imposing our height and our strength that we have with Nick and Brandon and KJ and some of these guys, and make it a little bit easier where we can get out in transition. And even Kobe, Kobe's standing out there at 6'9". It's like, Kobe, man, if you see these guys working for rebounds, go ahead and get in the rebound. I understand we want to get out and play fast, but like can't play too fast without the basketball. You know what I mean?
That's funny. And also, you think back to last year, Keenan Blackshear was always among Nevada's leading rebounders throughout the season, right? At 6'6", he could rebound pretty well for a guard. So, yeah, that is kind of a component that I do think Nevada's still adjusting to. I mean, look, they're 7-3, they're 10 games in. They've got another home game coming up. We record this on Friday, December 13th. Excerpts of this will air on the pregame show tomorrow, December 14th, but we'll publish this as a standalone pod as well. And,
All right.
10 games is enough to know, or is it? Again, you tell me. I tapped out at 8th grade JV, so you tell me. Is 10 games enough to know? Like, Nevada played 10 guys. Nevada played 10 guys in that game. Is 10 games enough to know what the rotation is, or is there still some feeling out to be done?
I mean, I think there is still some feeling out to be done, right? I mean, we've played some, good opponents, and Vanderbilt, and, Oklahoma State was a good one and everything like that. Going to South Carolina, I think was a good test for us. And I feel like we passed the test, and then we kind of had that let down against LMU, which I think still kind of leaves a bad taste in our mouth. And then we played a poor first half, but I'm sure Steve is still trying to figure it out. I'm sure he's still trying to figure out who he can go to late, who can dig us out of these holes, who can kind of provide that energy. And, I hate to say it, but I think back to my freshman year at Nevada, I was not part of the rotation until league got started. And then, it kind of just was like a breakthrough. And maybe that's where Brandon is going to break through come league, and he's going to fit in and have a better understanding. Or, guys like Tyler, where it's like, hey, man, this is going to be our lead point at this point. Kobe is better off the ball. There's so many different ways at 10 games that we are 7-3, right? We're sitting pretty at 7-3 with
Sure.
one bad loss on the resume, but like we can forget about that come March, hopefully. But we got to get this ball rolling, and you hope that Steve kind of does start to piece together the puzzle of like, how are we going to get off to a hot start come Mountain West time?
So it is Texas Southern tomorrow, Saturday the 14th, and then Nevada is off until the 21st, and that is the start of Mountain West play. Colorado State comes to Lawler Event Center. The expanded conference season, so that everybody plays the balanced schedule, but it also means conference games have already begun in December. Do you like that? Do you like the move to 20 conference games and what it means as far as everybody having to face everybody?
I like it. I think it's better. I think you get a real test. Everyone plays everyone. You get the home and away. You get a,
Hmm.
you just, obviously conferences are built. You try to think that, everyone's kind of sitting in the same boat when you build the conference, right? So it's kind of nice to play teams that are going to challenge you. Of course, everything evens out or plays out the way it plays as the season goes along. But everyone's kind of starts 0-0 once that league starts again, or once the league begins. And so I do like more conference games. I think it's more of a test, and I think it'll just make, the guys better and get a better understanding of, which direction this thing goes.
We haven't mentioned this, not on the recording, but do you have any thoughts about UC Davis joining the league, or maybe just the expansion generally of the Mountain West? Davis usually in competition for the Big West title, and there's been the addition of like UTEP and Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's a good basketball school.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, look, would we all be lying if we said we didn't want to get that invite to the Pac-12? Of course, you know what I mean? Like that was a little bit of a bummer, but you're kind of got to play the hand you're dealt. And yeah, UC Davis is a good team. Grand Canyon's been competitive, been a tournament team. I'd have to look, but it's been several years in the past, that they're playing in the tournament. So, the West Coast has good basketball. And, I think that's where the Mountain West is headed, probably trying to pull in more so maybe basketball strong schools rather than sort of the football whole idea. And so bringing in Grand Canyon, UC Davis, back in the day, UTEP was pretty darn good when I played.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it's great. And I think the more basketball strong we get, it's to be better for us, each March.
All right, let's zoom back in. Texas Southern. What do you want to see from the Wolfpack in this game Saturday, tomorrow?
Man, you want to see 2 second halves like we just had, or two halves like the second half against South Dakota State. Again, I just really want to see better rebounding, more aggressiveness, just really making sure all those 50-50 balls we win, the possession battle we win. I just think all that stuff is really important. I know that we kind of talked earlier, or maybe a couple podcasts ago, about like the 3-point shooting and how we can really overcome some tough opponents with that. But Texas Southern doesn't require so much of that. They require all like the little things, because that's how Texas Southern wins the game, right? Is get 50-50s, offensive rebounds, getting more possessions than us. So, I would like to see Nevada kind of win that battle in those different regards, and kind of just see where the game goes with that. And I think you and I will both like the outcome if we can win those.
He's Nick Fazekas. He is the newest member of our broadcast team on the Wolfpack men's basketball games, and he'll be doing the 2,464 Reasons podcast every week with me. Portions of that pod will air on the Bud Light tip-off show. That one starts tonight at 6:30, ahead of the 7 o'clock tip-off against Texas Southern. Broadcast information for tonight: like every Nevada basketball game, you can listen live on 95.5 FM here in Northern Nevada. You can always listen live on the Varsity Network and the Varsity Network app. And tonight, it's going to be simulcast television on Nevada Sports Net, with the audio from Len Stevens and me on the radio side, paired with the television pictures. So, however you take in this game tonight, it's a 7 o'clock start. We start our pregame show at 6:30 on the audio side. Television gets going at 7 o'clock, and the Wolfpack playing their final home game before conference season starts on the 21st of December against Colorado State. Hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you tonight at Lawler. Peace.